Hey, what's up, y'all, man? This is your boy, y'all's chosen one. You know what it be. At it again, chapter 68. Today is the 27th, I believe. Yeah. Um, what events are happening. You see the thing about that's kind of irrelevant. I mean, it happens all the time. But anyway, this is chapter 68 in the awesome book of Jasher. We've seen that Balaam had given an order to Pharaoh to pretty much throw all the children of the newborn boy children of Israel into the river when they're born, so they can get rid of the firstborn of Israel. So when you reduce the men population of a people, then you're pretty much have genocide going. All right, chapter 68. And it was at that time the Spirit of the Almighty was upon Miriam, the daughter of Amram, the sister of Aaron. And she went forth and prophesied about the house, saying, Behold, a son will be born unto us from my father and mother this time, and he will save Israel from the hands of Egypt. What does that remind you of? This reminds you of the New Testament. There's always a savior to save Israel. And since we're in Egypt again, there has to be a savior to save us again. That's why some people don't believe in the New Testament, because they say it mimics the Old Testament, but that gives you even more reason to believe that the Most High will do something again. So as we continue to read through the Bible and Jasher and Enoch and all the other books mentioned in the Bible, we can kind of see Yah's plan, you know what I'm saying? So in the same fashion that we're here in Egypt right now, which means house of bondage, the Most High is going to have a Savior to save us again. Yehoshua came. He's going to save us again from this. Save us out of this wilderness. Alright, and when Amram heard the words of his daughter, he went and took his wife back to the house, after he had driven her away at the time when Pharaoh ordered every male child of the house of Jacob to be thrown into the water. So to throw your wife out the house means pretty much, that you shouldn't go near her. Because what's the use of mating with your spouse if you can't, if the kid you're going to have is going to be killed? And it was the same way in the days of Noah, when Noah was thinking about, I got this wife, why should I even Noah refrained from having kids for a while, until the Most High told him, he was going to build, this world again through him. Alright, so Amram took Jochebed, his wife, 3 years after he had driven her away, and he came to her, and she conceived. Exodus 2, verse 1 through 2. And at the end of 7 months from her conception, she brought forth a son, and the whole house was filled with a great light, as of the light of the sun and moon at the time of their shining. This is phenomenal. The same way through when Yehoshua was born, there was a light illuminated, leading them to this star or this UFO. It's illumination right here. And when the woman saw the child that it was good and pleasing to the sight, she hid it for 3 months in an inner room. Exodus 2, verse 2. It's kind of the same way with Yehoshua, except they had to go hide this baby. She hid it for 3 months, and not with Yehoshua. When Mary and they had to go hide Yehoshua, they had to run to Egypt to hide Yehoshua from the Greeks. And when the woman's and that's in Exodus 2, verse 2. In those days, the Egyptians conspired to destroy all the Hebrews there. So just like they were here, they wanted to destroy us too. When you have the Willie Lynch letter, it tells them, not so much physically how to destroy us, but break us down mentally, spiritually, so we wouldn't know how to operate. we're still kind of in a state of confusion right now. And the Egyptian women went to Goshen, where the children of Israel were, and they carried their young ones upon their shoulders, their babes who could not yet speak. And in those days, when the women of children of Israel brought forth, each woman had hidden her son from before the Egyptians, that the Egyptians might not know of their bringing forth and might not destroy them from the land. See, our women, man, they was down for the cause, man. They was down for, us as a nation, as a people back then. Instead of going like we have the highest percentage of abortion rates right now, these women were fighting to keep their babies, and, not get them killed by these oppressors. And the Egyptian women came to Goshen, and their children who could not speak were upon their shoulders. And when the Egyptian woman came into the house of a Hebrew woman, her babe began to cry. And when it cried, the child that was in the inner room answered it. Oh, so the Egyptian women went and told it at the house of Pharaoh. Now here's the thing about this whole thing about baby talk. Babies can interact with each other. So in this case, these Egyptians, they already had this knowledge that babies would interact with each other. So these kids who couldn't speak, when they was whining or whatever, the baby would hear the other baby and they would speak. So very bright by the Egyptians and their Egyptian women. And that's why I don't like Egyptology. That's why I don't like it. You guys are conspiring too. I don't abhor you, but you're not part of me. You know what I'm saying? You're not a Hebrew. I'm proud to be a Hebrew. But, you do your Egyptian things. You look at all the vanity that each offer. There's always a dark side to everything. You know what I'm saying? And I can't stand Egypt. I can't stand Egyptologists. And if you're not down for Yah, I just can't stand you either. And Pharaoh sent his officers to take the children and slay them. Thus did the Egyptians to the Hebrew women all the days. And it was at that time, about 3 months from Jochebed's concealment of her son, that the thing was known in Pharaoh's house. And a woman hastened to take away her son before the officers came. And she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. That's in Exodus 2, verse 3. And his sister Miriam stood afar off to know what would be done to him, and what would become of her words. Exodus 2, verse 4. And the Most High sent forth at that time a terrible heat in the land of Egypt, which burned up the flesh of man like the sun in his circuit, and it greatly oppressed the Egyptians. So, you can do all the study and science that you want. And the Most High created this land, this world, this universe. He can utilize it any way that he wants to. And in this case, he utilized the sun to burn these wicked ass Egyptians. And all the Egyptians went to bathe down the river on account of the consuming heat, which burned up their flesh, which I'm glad it did. Should have burned them all. And Bathia, the daughter of Pharaoh, went also to bathe in the river, owing to the consuming heat. And her maidens walked at the river's side, and all the women of Egypt as well. Exodus 2, verse 5. And Bathia lifted up her eyes to the river, and she saw the ark upon the water, and sent her maid to fetch it. And she opened it and saw the child. And behold, the babe wept, and she had compassion on him. And she said, "This is one of the Hebrew children." Exodus 2, verse 6. Obviously, she knew it was a Hebrew child because, she probably knew that they made this baby because they knew it was going to try to throw in the river if it was born, and she probably knew that one of the women did this. For some reason, with this particular baby, she had compassion on the baby. And all the women of Egypt walking on the riverside desired to give him suck, but he would not suck, for this thing was from Yah, in order to restore him to his mother's heat. Alright, to his mother's breast. Alright, so they all pulling out their breasts, which might have been a really cool sight. And they all wanted to give the baby suck, but the baby wouldn't suck from their breasts. And and the Most High made this to where the baby would be given back to a Hebrew woman to be taken care of. And Miriam, his sister, was at that time amongst the Egyptian women at the riverside. And she saw this thing, and she said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and fetch a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee?" That's in Exodus 2, verse 7. And you just wondered, how did Miriam was so far up where she was like right beside Pharaoh's daughter? How was she able to get that close to the Egyptians? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." And the young woman went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to Jochebed, "Take this child away and suckle it for me, and I will pay thee thy wages, 2 bits of silver daily." This is all in Exodus 2:7 through 2:9. Took the child and nursed it. And at the end of 2 years, when the child grew up, she brought him to the daughter of Pharaoh. And he was unto her as a son, and she called his name Moshe. For she said, "Because I drew him out of the water." So Exodus 2 verse 10. So Moshe means drawn out of water. And Amram, his father, called his name Kabar, for he said it was for him that he associated with his wife, whom he had turned away. So Kabar means association with wife. And Jochebed, his mother, called his name Jukuthiel, because she said, "I have hoped for him the Almighty, and the Almighty restored him unto me." All right, so hope for the Almighty. And Miriam, his sister, called him Jared, for she descended after him to the river to know what his end would be. So that's to descend to. And Aaron, his brother, called his name Abi Zanuk, saying, that's Abi father, saying, "My father left my mother and returned to her on this account." So father leave mother, something like that. And Kehath, the father of Amram, called his name Abigdor, because on his account did the Almighty repair the breach of the house of Jacob, that they could no longer throw their male children into the water. And their nurse called him Abisokol, saying, "In his tabernacle was he hidden for 3 months, on account of the children of Ham." And all Israel called his name Shemaiah, son of Nathaniel, for they said, "In his days has the Almighty heard their cries and rescued them from their oppressors." So as you can see, when you name someone, according to Hebrews, it's something that's happening in your life, or something that event is happening. It ain't like today where, you're like thinking of all this stuff. I'm gonna name him Matthew. I'm gonna name him, Kyle. Or your name has to have meaning. When women look at their kids now, it's just a tradition because you're in this land. You don't know your heritage, on how to name your child. So this gives you a kind of, and then most of them don't even know what the child name means. After they name them, they don't even know. They don't even look in a book to see what it means. So we're kind of screwed up, as a people. But fortunately, we are coming back to the words. A lot of us are coming back to the word and starting to realize who we are as a people. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope, we continue to do this and stop following the ways of this world. And Moshe was in Pharaoh's house and was unto Bathia, Pharaoh's daughter, as a son. And Moshe grew up amongst the king's children. Now, here it is. This baby was a Hebrew baby. But Pharaoh himself said that all Hebrew babies should be put to death. Why did Pharaoh keep this child as his grandson? This Hebrew child is his grandson. First of all, the Hebrews and the Egyptians looked alike. Secondly, it was through the Most High that this would turn about. Thirdly, because of the Egyptians' beliefs in like the sun, since they worshiped the sun, they thought Pharaoh probably thought this baby was from the sun that was dropped into the river, and it was some kind of god thing. I don't know, man, but he had it all messed up, and he's going to pay the price for that because Moshe is going to come back and be a big thorn in his side. All right, love you guys. Continue to get the word each and every day, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Shalom.